Coming up on this week's show, we have the Golden Joystick Award winners, and Jamie doesn't get to spoil it for us. Sara calls in from Sweden as she celebrates the launch of Goat Simulator 3 with the dev team. There's Witcher 3 next gen details, and it's the 20th anniversary of Splinter Cell. Hello friends and welcome to the Weekend Catch-Up Club podcast, the coffee morning show brought to you every week where friends hang out and chat about some of the latest stories going on in the industry. You can follow the show on all your favourite podcasting platforms or watch the video version over on youtube.com/gamertagged. This is episode 87 and joining me as always is the man with the personality of a can of Orange Tango, the king of the tangent, James McClellan.
Hello, buddy.
We're laughing, we're smiling. That's absolutely.
Oh yeah, we are.
And joining us in the co-host hot seat is none other than the voice from beyond. You've heard her in Rollerdrome and in the Golden Joystick winning Goat Simulator 3. It's the ethereal, the spooky, the immensely talented, coming to us from another location today, Sara Lynham.
Hi. Hello from Sweden.
Sweden? Sara, why are you in Sweden? Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, it's also the answer to another question. Why are you hungover? It was the Goat Simulator 3 launch party last night. So I was here with the Coffee Stain North team and actually the grander team, all the teams from Coffee Stain Publishing and the guys from Valheim, the guys from Deep Rock. We're all here. We're all hanging out. Yeah, it was really fun.
I love those games.
Right? They're so good.
Moving and shaking, making connections, making moves.
Absolutely.
Oh, I love it. Love it. Are you going to appear in Valheim? Are you planting the seeds and connections?
I've been planting seeds
project?
and connections. Absolutely. So I guess we'll see what happens. And if there's any DLC for Goat Sim 3, I'll be like, hello, pick me.
I feel this could be the start of the Goat Simulator expanded universe where goats just appear in other games and you're the goat.
I mean, yes, I 1,000% invest in this idea. Everybody else should. Let's lock it in. Let's make it happen.
Yeah,
that could be my life's work. Can just be popping up as a goat in like whatever, everything, anything.
The next Assassin's Creed will have a mythical quest where you have to track down this goat, this legendary goat that has been talked about for generations.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you have to go track it down.
That would be amazing.
I'm just picturing a goat, but basically in Ezio's outfit.
Why is this not already a thing? It should be in Goat Sim at the very least.
Yeah,
like, yeah.
I want to see various cosplay goats now.
Oh yeah, that's a shout out to everybody, please.
Yeah, if you can draw or Photoshop, because God knows I can't, then please, I need an Etsy goat.
That would be incredible.
That would be awesome.
Huge congratulations there, and obviously to the team for winning their Golden Joystick Award. That's amazing. Must be such a cool thing to be part of, and you must be feeling like uber proud of everyone and of course yourself. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's such an awesome team. Like everyone there is, I mean, as you can tell, anybody who's making a game like Goat Sim and Goat Sim 3, you only really have to watch the intro to know exactly what you're in for. I don't know if anyone's played it yet, but it's this brilliant piss take of the start of Skyrim.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
it's so funny, and it's so like it knows itself, and it just goes, look. And I think, the other thing is if you watch the whole intro, you get a trophy. So you should watch the whole intro because it's funny.
No skipping those cutscenes.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant, and it was such a fun night. And because they're based in Sweden and I'm based in London normally, I hadn't actually met anybody in person, so that was really cool as well. Like actually hanging out with the people that I'd just been working remotely with, because it was all done in lockdown, actually, just to give you some context as to when we were doing it. So my neighbors were exceptionally confused about me screaming in my booth and yelling about goats. And
That feels like it warrants an Owen Wilson. Wow.
Wow. Wow.
That's going to be the thing now. Every episode, we have to get you to do a wow.
Just imagining you getting a visit from the homeowners association. It's like, we've had reports that you might be keeping pets. Like, what? No? More specifically, and it's an odd one, goats? Oh, no, I can explain this.
Mm-hmm.
The Animal Humane Society will be knocking on your door. Are you keeping goats in your apartment? Miss Lynham, what's going on here? We have to do an inspection.
I would welcome that sort of thing, because that's like a critique on how good my ability to impersonate a goat is. So yes.
It is. It really is. It's like, no, I'm just that good with my vocal range. Mm-hmm. That's all. When I sing, I sound like a goat. That's all.
And I'm proud of it.
Yeah. So this could quite easily turn into the Sara show, because you've also been doing a video game concert that you will have to tell us all about as well. Before we get into all of the other topics, tell us all about this amazing video game orchestra concert that you did last weekend.
Yeah, oh my god, that was one of the coolest things I've done in a long time. Like, it was a combining of like two big aspects of my life. Like, I'm a massive nerdy video game person and a singer, and the London Video Game Orchestra asked me if I would sing in their concert, and I was like, of course. Why are you even asking me? I'm already there. Like, imagine I was already there, because I'm already there. Oh my god, it was the coolest thing ever. Singing with an orchestra is already really, really special, but also being able to sing with an orchestra, really amazing content about video games, and some video game music is so good. Oh my goodness. And that is, I think that was the best part about it, was that I think everyone can imagine like a favorite piece from a video game, or even if you can't imagine exactly what your favorite is, you would be sat there in that audience listening to some of the stuff that they were playing and some of the stuff I was singing in, and go, oh my god, yes. And they're iconic, and they're things that you always it'll take you right back to when you first played that game, or that first moment in that game. Like, there was an amazing it was kind of a not really a medley. I think it was officially like I guess technically a type of medley, but it was Mass Effect. But imagine all the different moments, including the like moments where you're in the map, and you've got your little
the idle kind of music. Yeah,
it was so cool. I was like, this is fucking great. I feel like I'm playing the game. But it was fucking cool. And that wasn't even one that I was singing in. But my favorite one that I sang was Snake Eater from Metal Gear Solid 3, which was
oh my god,
so good.
Yeah, you sent us that clip, and I was like, holy shit, she wasn't just like fucking about. She can actually sing. I thought she was just all bullshitting us. But
which is classic me. Classic me. I was like, haha, these fuckers have no idea. they'll eat that up.
I had assumed you could sing because, they had asked you to come and sing in the London Video Game Orchestra. So I was like, well, you probably got previous. But I was like, you have a hell of a voice. And it's a hell of a song. I was just sat here with a big goofy grin on my face, like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I really want to go to one of their concerts. And
yeah.
Do you know?
It's not just.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was going to say it's not just like that. Sarah can carry a tune; she can fucking sing. It's like proper sing. Yeah.
I'm glad you liked it. I enjoyed it so much. Crazy thing is though that apparently there are video game orchestras all over the UK. So there's a London one, there's a Manchester one, there's a Welsh one. You know where there isn't one though? Is it one in Scotland?
By any chance? Oh, yeah. Really?
No,
that's outrageous.
Yeah. So we should probably remedy that. How many musician friends do you have?
A few, a couple here or there, I think. I don't know if they're orchestral trained right enough.
We can rank them all together.
We've got like Guitar Hero friends, that kind of thing. Maybe not quite the same.
Depending on what sort of event you're going to, almost better. But it depends. If it would be much worse music, but it would be much better drunk. So it depends what you're looking for. I don't know.
Absolutely would. It'd be amazing. The air guitar, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
it'd be amazing. Anyway, That is so epic to absolutely hear. Obviously, not only did it go incredibly well, but you had an absolute blast performing multiple songs. It wasn't just Snake Eater, right? It was quite a few different ones.
Yeah. So most of the other pieces were slightly more choral, although it was only me singing, which is very cool. Let me see if I can remember them in order. So there was a piece from Batman Arkham City. But essentially, I was just going,
incredible.
Arkham Civitas. Like, it was great. And then what was next? Oh, yeah, Assassin's Creed, Ezio's Family, which was, yeah.
That's a great tune.
That sounded amazing in that
really
space as well. So that was very cool.
Yeah. How's your baritone for doing the Halo Monks theme tune?
Oh, you know what? I can make anything work. You just tell me. I'll work on it.
Go super deep like Barry White and do the monk chants. Like Tibetan throat music. You could do that stuff, couldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Whatever you need, I'll make it happen.
Okay, so the topics for today's show. We obviously have talked a little bit about Goat Simulator 3 getting the Golden Joystick Award. We're going to be talking about the Golden Joystick Awards, and Jamie is not getting to fuck it up for us this time. We're going to be embracing it. We're going to be having fun, and we're going to be talking about a little bit of the Golden Joystick Awards. Jamie, you have been told. Sit on your hands if you have to. I don't care. We've also got we've got some details of the Witcher 3 next generation update, so we're going to be talking about that. They did their live stream going into all the details a couple of days ago, so we can finally talk about that in specifics. And we have some really exciting Splinter Cell news, because the 20th anniversary was just recently, which, fuck, that makes me feel really old that it's 20 years since Splinter Cell came out. But I guess that makes sense because it was on the OG Xbox. And there's even so that's obviously about talking about the remake, which is in progress. It's obviously still quite a way away. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And there's even a radio drama that is coming out in the Splinter Cell universe as well. So what a while ago we talked about the Callisto Protocol Helix Station radio drama, and now we've got another one. So that's really exciting because we were obviously giddy about that. So let's just talk about that one first of all. We may as well, because I'm already kind of in free flowing into it. So Splinter Cell Firewall is set for a BBC radio production, which is actually really cool, like really quite exciting. It has Adonis Anthony apparently playing Sam Fisher. I'm a little bit sore that it's not Michael Ironside reprising the role of Sam Fisher, but I get it. I understand it. It's like an adaptation. It's just somebody else picking up the mantle to do the radio play. That's totally fine. And Will Poulter, aka the kid from Not Meet the Parents, was it? The Coopers or something like that it was called ages ago. But he's also going to be Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and he is fucking jacked for that. He looks totally different. So he's obviously going to be appearing in this. 8-part miniseries dramatized by Sebastian, I'm going to butcher his name, I do apologize, Bakiewicz, I think that's maybe how you pronounce it, and Paul Cornell. Follows the veteran 4th Echelon agent Sam Fisher on a new mission recruiting and training the next generation of Splinter Cell operatives for the National Security Agency's Covert Action Division. I'm really quite excited about this because radio plays are awesome. They're very, very different type of media, a way to consume narrative and our universes that we love in video game context. Hand it over to Sarah. What do you think about this one?
I mean, this is really exciting, right? I think I've said it before. I'm so in for any sort of adjacent stuff that kind of builds on the world that we know and love. So obviously I'm going to listen to this, and I've been listening to the Callisto Protocol one, and it's been exceptional. And if the BBC are behind this, it's going to be good. It's going to be like high quality. It's going to be great. I think the thing that was good about Callisto Protocol is that it felt like it was adjacent to what's going to happen in the game, whereas I think having the main protagonist in this one, hopefully it doesn't take away too much from the game, although I guess it depends on who they're going to cast, right? Because I know there's been a bit of discussion. Everybody wants the OG Ironside back, but he wasn't in one of the later games or something, right?
Yeah, Splinter Cell Blacklist, and
That's right, yeah.
I think that was mostly due to they were changing up their the production workflow, and it was more full body capture with the voice acting.
Oh, right.
So it was very physical. Michael Ironside is an older gentleman, and also I think he had some health issues as well at the time that he was working through. So it just was impossible to get him to do Splinter Cell Blacklist, unfortunately. And that's always one thing that sticks with me when I want to jump in and play Splinter Cell Blacklist, because by all purposes, it is a fantastic game. It's an excellent game, but it's not Michael Ironside, and that is always the thing that sticks with me to say, I don't want to play it then because it's not Michael Ironside is doing the voice. But I don't know if there was a reason for not being able to get him for this, or maybe it's such a small role and it's going to be focusing on the like passing the baton for operatives. Maybe it's not quite a Sam Fisher centric adaptation. I don't know.
Yeah, especially because they've mentioned the new recruits kind of side of things. So yeah, that would be interesting, and a nice way of going. And and this world exists, but let's build on that. It's not just all about Sam. It's about this guy and this guy and this guy, or this girl, this girl, this girl. Yeah, so excited. It's gonna be great. It literally. Give me more content to absorb. Not that I have the time, but I will do it anyway. I'll find the time.
It's an excellent type of content as well, because it's passive, or it can be passive as well. Like you said on Helix Station, Coastal Protocol 1, that you were listening to it on your commute, and that's the great thing about any kind of audio centric format is you can be doing other things. My wife loves her audiobooks, and she's a cake baker, so she doesn't have hands free. She can't sit down for any length of time to watch something. So as she's kneading the dough and sculpting these sugar crafted masterpieces, shout out to Jessie's Magic Oven for your cake confectionery needs, then she can just be having the audio book or whatever playing as she's doing these cake creations. So it's such a great format to just have on and then do other things as well, and get fully absorbed into it. Miss your train stop potentially as well, because you're so engrossed. It's like, exactly. No, I don't want us to stop. I want to get to the next bit. So it's such a cool format.
That is one of the things. The only thing that I struggle with is so if the episode's length is only like 20-25 minutes, which was perfect for Callisto Protocol, it's fine. I because I don't like stopping in the middle, because also I don't want to break the narrative, and the episodes are made that way intentionally. So I'm like, I want to listen to this in its full chunk. I almost missed a stop the other day while I was listening to but they make such good content. What am I gonna do? Oh no.
I know, it's that awkward of, okay, my journey today is maybe 35 minutes. What do? I can finish a whole episode, but I can't start another episode because I won't finish it in time. Oh, the travesty, the trauma, the problem that I have. What to do here?
This is my terrible first world problem that I have.
Exactly. That's all we have to complain about. I think we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Jamie, what do you think about this project?
I'm very excited. Like Sarah said, I like anything that brings, an extended element to games universes that we're already excited by, because you get more of the story. I mean, I've had it with games and I've had it with films where you and books and any of that, where you end that and it's like, oh, that's all gone, and you're waiting for a sequel to the game maybe in a few years' time, but you know what else happened, and there's always that what if as well. It's like, well, what if that character does that afterwards, or what happened to that guy who turned up in that bit, and things like that. So it's nice when you get those stories told and things like that. And I love audio. I love audio. Like I'm not just plugging it because this is a video podcast, so we don't have to fucking impress you people, but but I've always loved podcasts. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and some of them are like fictional radio play type stuff, like the Thrilling Adventure Hour. Beyond Belief is a particular favorite of mine. Others are just people talking about things, various subjects, stuff like that. But anything you can take in. What I think is really exciting is the fact that it's BBC, and it's more. I like anything that puts gaming in the mainstream a little bit, that puts it in and casts a light upon it that is not necessarily just we basement dwelling folk. as we're still perceived by some. Like, gaming still seems like gaming's like the biggest growing entertainment industry in the world, and yet still seems to be considered a niche hobby.
Yeah.
And so it's always nice to get a little bit of light shone on it, so that and also it helps with a little bit. Again, gaming still gets demonized by some as as not being the healthiest hobby, or it's just something that we do. And there's some really great stories, and we enjoy it. And hey, now the BBC are going to be telling some of those stories, and you never know. You might have someone sat there thinking, "Well, I quite like the Archers, so I'll give this a shot." And then next thing you go, you got a new fan. And Splinter Cell is an awesome franchise. I love it.
Yeah.
So
there's a really great statement here from Alison Hindle, who's the commissioning editor for Radio 4 Drama. It says, Alison says, I am really thrilled to be bringing to Radio 4 and BBC Sounds this innovative and exciting series, and feel sure it will have listeners hooked from the start. We have a great team working together to bring this world to life for audio listeners. Familiar as it is in another form to its millions of game fans, we hope they will enjoy hearing situations and characters that they love, given added layers and dimensions through this new interpretation of the story, and the binaural element is an added bonus, as the series has been recorded in 3D binaural audio.
That's so cool.
Meaning listening on headphones will give a more immersive experience. So again, it's the kind of thing that audio can only deliver, which is super exciting.
Do you know what's so cool about that? So I've seen the device that they use to record binaural sound, and it literally looks like a little head with little speakers on the side of it. So it's as if you have a sort of head facing a certain way. So if the actor is stood, just to the side here, that's where you will hear it when you're listening to it. It's absolutely mad. So cool.
I saw that thing as well, and it was a making of documentary of Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice from Ninja Theory. And I remember they were one of the first kind of developers to really showcase it. And if Jamie, this is a game that's right up your street. It's Norse mythology, so it's good. a bit walking simulatory, a bit actiony, very puzzle heavy, glyphs and things like that. And the mental psychosis is the strong kind of undertone message all about it, and bringing awareness to that. Fabulous game, but it's essential to play with headphones, because the literal voices in your head are moving around the space in your mind, in your ears, and it is incredible. And if they've really gone to town with that level of production for this drama series, it could be a banger. It could be really good.
Yeah, that is quite exciting. I didn't know that about Hellblade. It's been on my list anyway. Of something I'd like to try at some point, but I didn't know that. And that anything that uses, I like gimmicks when they're actually used well. Like, I'm not talking about, say, the Kinect, which was an abomination of a device. But
don't you talk shit about the Kinect, my friend. The Kinect has some excellent features to it. I love my Kinect.
Not the Xbox One Kinect, the 360 Kinect. Did you ever play Blackwater? Jesus,
that's allowed.
But
that's
anyway,
that's allowed.
But so when it's used right, like you end up with some really cool things, and like stuff like that, like binaural sound, like that has so much potential to add, rather than just be something that people can do and like, oh yeah, we recorded it in that, listen to it. So I've always said that with like 3D cinema's one for me. It's like there are some films that it makes sense. There are other films it's like, why did you put this in 3D? And the way you did it, it doesn't need it. But it can add a massive element to things when used right and for the right content. And for this, because I'm thinking of the way Splinter Cell works as well, you're sneaking about, you're listening, there's guards walking past. Yeah. If they've got moments of the story and you're hearing the sounds around them, and it's going to make you feel like you're there, crouched in the corner with your ever so visible night vision goggles that every guard should spot immediately. Especially if you put them on with a chain pull and they go, but still, we suspend disbelief because we love it.
Absolutely. I think you're right, Jamie, because that positional audio will let you know like the actual direction of the guards that Sam Fisher, or if it's one of these other recruits characters, are heading in, and then you get a real sense of the space that the narrative is being told in, which is again, it's just hugely exciting. Excuse me while I take a sip of my hot water and honey, because I've got a very sore throat today.
Hold the line, please, caller.
That's where you have to do your... you could be our elevator music, Sarah. Come on, sing! Sing, monkey, sing!
I knew it was going to be the girl from Iwo Jima. I knew
it. Amazing.
That's my go-to elevator music.
Yeah, we'll be right back after this short musical interlude. Anyway, the next bit of Splinter Cell news is, of course, the hugely anticipated Splinter Cell remake, which got announced. I'm trying to think when it got announced, actually. Was it last year? Maybe the year before? I think it was actually last year, but time is a vortex. I have no idea where we are in the world right now. So this is... It was actually a really great presentation video that Ubisoft published just a few days ago, and I was really stunned that, oh my god, we're here already. It's the 20th anniversary of Splinter Cell. This game, so I don't know about Sarah's history with the game, so we'll get to that in a minute. But I know Jamie, you're a big fan of Splinter Cell as well, right? I was a huge fan of the original Splinter Cell. This was a game, this was a moment, a change up in the industry that really showed the power of games, introduced new tech like dynamic lighting. It was huge, and most importantly, this was Xbox's answer to Metal Gear Solid at the time. The original Splinter Cell didn't come out on PlayStation. It only came out on Xbox, and this was their exclusive. It's like, okay, Sony, you've got Kojima, you've got Snake, you've got that crazy franchise over there, which is selling in the millions. It's highly revered. It's a spy series, but it's Hollywood tropes and things like that and weirdness going on. We want our own version. We've got Ubisoft here creating this new icon of a character in Sam Fisher with the three green goggle lights and things like that. And for me, this is why I think I never really got into Metal Gear Solid, because I never had a PlayStation way back then. I had an Xbox, and I wanted, I guess, an equivalent spy series. And then Splinter Cell came out, and then I was all in on Splinter Cell. And it felt grittier, it felt more grounded, more believable. And the fact that I had dynamic lighting, you could shoot out the lights, you could just snap necks and things like that. And it felt like it had a fully 3D camera and everything. The environments were just epic. I remember breaking into the CIA for one level. I thought, this is fucking immense, absolutely immense, and I adore Splinter Cell series, and I'm desperate to see what this remake can give us. But Jamie, tell us about your passion for Sam Fisher and Splinter Cell.
I played the first one. I think I played most of them up to the last couple entries in the series, where I'd sort of fallen off, not because of the games, it just seemed to always come about when I wasn't playing the console, I was on the PC or something like that. So love this franchise. They've ruined me for games, actually, because the dynamic lighting has spoiled me for games. Because if I go into a game and I can't shoot out the lights, I'm like, what the fuck's that?
I know.
Right?
Totally.
Especially when it's a stealth game and you can't do it now. Because I'm like, hey, we've been doing this for years, guys. That's a thing. But that was when I would creep in and I'd shoot out the light. What the? And you got the guard sort of looking around, and then you come up behind him. I grew up on the Timothy Dalton era Bond. I quite like the idea of snapping someone's neck in the pitch black in fiction.
In fiction,
just
disclaimer in fiction. Yeah.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Any moment that makes you feel like a badass in a game, that's what I want out of gaming. And this game did it in spades. It's so good. And as the series progressed as well, the directional mic, I remember the level on, I can't remember which one it was, but one of them where you're on a train, you have to slide the door open just a little because you've got your directional mic, but it won't take two sheets for that. And the time I spent outside it, pointing that at a window, going, I'm fucking do it, and then realising there was a glass partition in there, and having to go like that and point it through and sit there like they're going to see me, this is it, this is how I die, this is it, I know it's going to... tense moments, and just amazing gameplay, great stories, and Fisher, just an iconic character. And I am with the radio play, like you said, I'm a little sad it's not Michael Ironside, because by God, that is definitely a case where it's a voice that has attached itself to a character, and that is part of the whole franchise. So I have a huge love for this game series, and I will absolutely be playing the remake.
Yeah, there was so many firsts in that game. That very first one, like the little snake cam, like the dynamic lighting, shooting things out, like looking under doors, and you could I'm trying to remember, was it Pandora Tomorrow or the first one where they introduced being able to just edge out the door? You didn't just open the door and it was a full swing, because up until that point, whenever any character opened the door, it was a full open. I think it was maybe Pandora Tomorrow that said, actually, I just want to just like edge it open just a little. I just want to peek through the door rather than fully swing the door open. I thought, man, this is so clever and it's so cool, and I do feel like a ninja. And of course, Chaos Theory is still regarded as the best in the series, but things like Double Agent and Conviction went off in different directions and added new features. I know a contentious point is the mark and execute, but I really liked it, because it made you feel like John Wick, when if you had to get a stealth kill to then recharge your mark and execute meter, so you couldn't really abuse it as such. But once you leveled it up, you could mark and execute like 4 people, so you could just storm into a room, have them already prepped kind of thing to mark and execute, and then just go bang, 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 and you're just like, yeah, I am special forces, of course I can do that, of course. And it was just, I mean, whether they bring back mark and execute for this remake, that's interesting, and I don't know if they will, because that'd be such a departure for the gameplay of the first game. But it is building it from the ground up to make full use of modern technology, modern advances, and they mentioned like things like ray tracing, and obviously they're going to be drastically improving the AI, because the AI back then was never very good. It was a bit
that was a bag of bricks, wasn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So it's really exciting to see what they can actually do, and I don't know whether mark and execute is used or not. I don't really know, and to be honest, I don't really care. If I really want mark and execute, I'll go back and play Conviction or finally play Blacklist for the very first time and lament the loss of Sam Fisher not being in it. Michael Ironside, I should say, not Sam Fisher. But it's exciting because it's a long way away. Unfortunately, it was just showing concept art, but the thought of what they can do with a Unreal Engine 5 modern Splinter Cell is hugely exciting, and I hope they go in the direction of, this is what Hitman were doing, this is what we should have done all these years, but to grow the franchise, make these ginormous sandboxes where you can approach it any way you want, and that's our core structure for a new Splinter Cell. I've been saying that for years. I think, and Ubisoft are saying we don't know what to do with the new Splinter Cell. Guys, just look at what IO Interactive are doing with Hitman. Ginormous sandboxes, you have a target or you have data to steal or whatever your objective is, but go and approach it any way you want, and there's multiple opportunities for you to do that. And I hope they take those learnings from the Hitman series and make just this incredible Splinter Cell sandbox type of game. Anyway, Sarah, sorry, I've been talking way too much. I haven't been giving you a chance to give you your thoughts.
It's all good. It's all good. We all love to hear your voice. I'm super excited for this, but my experience with Splinter Cell as a franchise is very minimal. I remember playing. I'm certain I played the very, very first game, but it was 20 years ago, as we officially know. I don't remember too much from it except feeling like a total badass while I was playing it, which is exactly what we want, right? What I really loved was in the video where they're talking about this remake that they're doing, is how passionate you can see that these devs are, and how much it feels like they want to honor the original content to the point where they just want to bring it into the ability what we can produce these days. So they want to give us that old game, give us that nostalgia, but give us a nice, clean, slick, smart game, while still accessing the reason why we love it in the first place. So that I'm so excited about. I was more PlayStation when I was growing up, so Metal Gear Solid was my jam. But yeah, I'm sure that I played the first one, because I remember the shooting out of the lights and the sneaking around in the dark and the really loud night vision goggles. It's going to be great, isn't it? I have a feeling it's going to be really good. And watching devs be excited like that is what makes me want to play the game. And there was one specific moment in that video where I can't remember the name of the guy who said it, but he was like, we aren't going to rush this. We're not going to release something that we're not 100% confident is something that the people are going to love and want to play. And that's exciting as well.
Yeah.
It sucks that we'll have to wait quite a while, but it's nice to know that they are going to put everything into it, and it sounds like it's going to be incredible. So yeah, couple of years maybe, I guess.
I'd say at least. I think if they're still just sharing concept art and nothing else, then I think it's maybe like 2 to 3 years away, probably at least. I think you're right. The team that they've obviously got together to do this little presentation, of course, the wider team that are obviously off camera working away, clearly understand they cannot get this wrong, because it was such like way back in the 2000s of the original Xbox platform. Splinter Cell was one of the pillars, the building pillars of Ubisoft. It was Splinter Cell. Remember, they had Beyond Good and Evil. I lament that we still don't have a sequel to that, but never mind, that's another conversation entirely. And we had Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. Those games all came out in that original era of Xbox, and they were genre-defining games. They changed the game entirely. They changed the industry entirely. So the fact that we're getting such a great team that are so passionate to get this right and are actually sharing early stuff with the direction of the game, the concept art stuff, with the look and the vibe and everything that they want to go with for modern tech and everything. Hugely, hugely exciting, but I think there's a lot of eyes on it to say, yeah, but what are you doing with my Splinter Cell? Don't you deviate too far, because we're watching you. And I'm just hugely excited to see what they can do, because even if they go in maybe like a radical new direction with a lot of the gameplay systems, I'm still open to that, because it's a new, finally, it's going to feel like a new Splinter Cell game. It's going to feel like an entirely new game. And that's exactly what it should do. It should, have reverence for the original, but also take it in new directions as well. It doesn't have to be a one-to-one remake. It can be a one-to-one remake, because everything is so advanced now that I just want to see Sam Fisher do a split jump in Unreal Engine 4 up into the shadows when he's just like in this doing the Jean-Claude Van Damme splits, like above an enemy sort of thing. I want to see that in an Unreal Engine 5. That's really all I want.
What Sarah was saying about the enthusiasm from the devs. That's what you were. I know. I've had a pop at the money machine behind gaming once or twice over the years. So, but it's there, and without the money, we don't get the game. So I'm not really complaining. Yep. It's just there's a responsibility, etc. But the devs behind these things, they make games because they want to make games. Like, I honestly don't believe there's a software, a gaming developer in the world that goes into it because they just want to earn a living. It's a passion. It's not, it's a passionate career. It's not a job that you just do. And so that's why I always like seeing videos where they talk to the devs about it, because when you get the representative from marketing or something, I'm not saying they're not great at their job and fantastic, but they maybe don't have the same love for the franchise in the same way. Which is fine. But when you see the devs talking about it, like, this is 20 years on, there's devs on that team who probably cut their teeth playing the first damn game, and that's what made them want to get into, and that's, I remember talking to Derek Kurtzik from NetherRealm once at Eurogamer about Mortal Kombat, and the reason he was so stoked to be working on it is because one of his first games that he experienced was Mortal Kombat 2, and he's like, now he's working for the company.
Yeah.
So like, things like that, it's great. So, and it's just such an awesome franchise to see coming back. Fucking give me all the Splinter Cell. Although, don't tell me, Ubisoft, you don't know what to do with Splinter Cell, because guess what? You did it. It's called Assassin's Creed. There's parallels there. Just make one of your big open worlds.
Well, it's the same with Prince of Persia. I really want Prince of Persia to come back, but I don't want it to be an Assassin's Creed. I want it to be Prince of Persia. Prince of Persia was all about the parkour, but running and manipulating the environment and somersaulting over these impossible traps and things like that. And that's the sandbox for Prince of Persia. I don't want it to be like an Assassin's Creed. Like, keep Assassin's Creed doing its thing, or go back to its roots, whatever. But I still badly want a classic Prince of Persia. You know what? There's a Prince of Persia game which got forgotten about, and it never gets any reverence, and it's The Forgotten Sands. And it's because it came out at the same time as the movie, and therefore the prince, the character, looks a little bit like Jake Gyllenhaal because it was a bit of a tie-in, but that game is fucking phenomenal. It is fantastic, and it looks really sharp because it was a bit more modern in that Sands of Time, Warrior Within, Two Princes or Two Thrones, I think it was the third one. It's in that vein, and it still plays fantastically, and it's classic pop kind of thing, you know. And that's another one I'd love to see come back as well. But going back to Splinter Cell, I can see this project as a two-pronged kind of win for Ubisoft, because they said that they don't necessarily know what to really do with a new Splinter Cell. This gives them the opportunity to reimagine, reinvent the first game under the Remake moniker, but also get to grips with, okay, we're now making a new game, but it's not a new game. It's still familiar, and we don't have to be maybe as creatively taxed or head-scratching as to what to do with it and the expectation of a brand new game. Whereas we're just going to be remaking and reimagining the first game, and that will give us lessons and learnings to then say, okay, now we've got an understanding, a grounding to make a fully new game, whether it's a sequel, whether it's a reboot or whatever, going forward with the new technology and the new understandings of AI and things like that, and what the fans' expectations are for a brand new game. So this gives them a bit of a springboard to keep the franchise moving forward, and I really appreciate that. And of course, a lot of these remake things are, I say it glibly, like an easy win, but it's not easy at all. But it gives investment, it gives that stopgap investment to a studio before the next big game and the next big entry comes out. It's the same with, you can balk at The Last of Us Part 1, but you know what? That gives Naughty Dog a major cushion to work on their next big IP, because they're probably still working that out. They've got hundreds of developers that they need to pay for and keep employed, but get them on a remake project, and that gives them the opportunity to learn the PlayStation 5 hardware and also deliver a project which is going to keep the studio solvent for the next big thing. And that's why I always hate seeing the audience getting super toxic about, another remake. Yeah, but think of the business side of it. It gives the studio the opportunity to do this fairly straightforward, although it's never straightforward, project, whilst they need that interim cash flow of something before the next big thing comes out. And that's why I'll always kind of look to support remaster projects. And I'm hoping this is going to be phenomenal, because it seems like it's going to be, well, brand new. Everything's brand new. It's like the Dead Space. It's like the RE4, RE2 kind of stuff. It's like totally new audience that are going to get to consume it. And the old grumpy, craggy audience like myself and Jamie, we get to relive our 20 years ago. Not even childhood, because we were in our 20s then. That's how old we are. So I don't even get to say recapturing our childhood. 18? Wow, okay. Yeah, but you're like but an 18-year-old Jamie is like dog years, so you were really in your 50s back then, mate. Come on.
I'll give you that. I mean, yeah.
Brutal. 18
technically. 18 by the birth certificate, but I'm not entirely sure it's accurate.
Yeah, think of it like Rings on a Tree or something like that. Jamie's old and wise beyond his years, even though the shell is only 18 years old. No.
Oh, this is the host body.
The host body, exactly. You're an entity that just transfers from shell to shell. Is that what
it's
it is?
in my Twitter bio. Non-corporeal malevolent entity.
There you go.
I've never hidden it. No one ever believed.
Okay. Shall we? Anything else to say from either of you on this, or shall we move on to the next topic?
Let's move on.
Keep it rolling. Okay. Let's talk The Witcher, and I'm gonna let Sarah do the lion's share of this. But we finally got the restream VOD. Not the restream. What am I talking about? My mind is all over the place. The stream VOD from CD Projekt Red. There we go. And it was talking about all of the improvements that are coming to this free next-gen update for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, coming December 14th for everybody if you already own it. And I was really surprised by just how much is in here. So quick overview is improved visuals, ray tracing, improved screen space reflections, improved foliage, better textures, more visual improvements are coming to the game. Enjoy them to the fullest thanks to FSR 2.1 and DLS 3. That's for you PC guys. I'm just a filthy casual console gamer, so none of that shit means anything to me. We have camera controls and UI changes, rediscover the continent from a new perspective. We've added an alternative camera option that'll bring you closer to the action, combined with alternative quick sign casting option, map filtering, and the option to dynamically hide the minimap. It will make exploration even more exciting than before. Photo mode is photo mode. I'm hugely excited for that. There's mods that they're adding into it, some community ones, some of their own ones, and there's Netflix DLC and cross progression. So, Sarah, the queen that is Witcher, take it away. What did you think about this one?
I mean, when we were talking about it last time, I was like, oh, I don't know what they're gonna do. Like, I didn't really find it like offensive in terms of the way that the game came across the first time I played it. In fact, I loved it. I still love it. But this was so exciting, and they implied that there's even more that's going to be done, and they're going to obviously release the full patch notes at some point, so we can all sort of fully nerd out, go through it like a little file, and go, "Ooh, this! Oh, look at that! Oh." But like, yeah, and it's going to look incredible. Again, it's kind of one of those things that at the time I wasn't looking at something and going, "Oh, that looks a little bit useless compared to what other games," but it's exciting. It makes me want to play it again, and that's the whole point, right? And they're very cleverly giving it to us for free. They're trying to win us back over. They're doing exactly what they should be doing at this point in time. It's really clever. And again, it was really cool to listen to the devs talking about stuff, and the way that they talk about things like the camera angles, because I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'm not necessarily I didn't feel the need to change that, but the way that they talk about it is this kind of like, you feel closer into the action. You on Roach, you feel like you can see the connection between Roach and Geralt. I'm like, that's something I didn't even think that I needed, and now I definitely need it. And I'm like, I want to see more detail. I want to live in that world again. And they got me good.
I know. I think that the big one for me was the new camera, and like you said, I didn't have a problem with the first camera. It was more Dark Souls kind of detached further back, like from Software game, but just moving it much tighter as if it's like the new God of Wars.
Yeah,
like that's going to completely change the feel of the game, and it's going to draw you in a bit more. And I'm definitely going to be probably playing it like that the majority of the time. And I'm just really, really looking forward to it. Again, like you, the game is still gorgeous. If you go back and play the original one from 2015, not that long ago, it's only 7 years. It's not like it's a retro game by any margin. No. It's still absolutely stunning. I mean, I've been playing it on the Switch as well, and talk about potato mode, but it's still a beautiful game, even in potato mode on the little Switch. But the fact that they've added... You got to think about the huge vastness of this world and this game, and they've brought ray tracing to the entire world.
Yeah.
And like the improved SSR stuff and the improved foliage and better textures. I was hoping for better textures, but it wasn't a deal breaker at all for me. And obviously, if you've got like a high-end PC, to really ramp up those ray tracing features and the upscaling through DLSS and things like that, you're going to be in for one hell of a treat, especially if you've never played this game. This is going to be your first experience of it. So you got to think, going into this game, is it going to feel like a 2022 game with these improvements, or is it going to feel like a little bit of an upscale from an older game? Either way, I think the improvements that they're making are super smart, and I really like that they've added the quick signing options, because in the previous iteration of the game, you had to bring up the radio dial, select the sign that you wanted to use, and then cast it, whereas now you can essentially like hotkey it, which is fantastic. So you can, I think it's press and hold the bumper button if you're playing on controller, and then it's mapped to each of the face buttons. So that's going to bring like a new dynamic like intensity to the combat if you're just like throwing out these signs left and right instead of pausing the action, bringing up the radio mile. Again, that's detaching you from the experience, but to keep you fully immersed in the combat as you're fighting a wyvern, or if you're fighting one of these hag spectral witches or things like that, laying down a trap, blasting it with fire, doing the force push thing, all fluidly and without any interruption. I think it's going to totally change the dynamic of the game.
Do you reckon then, as a result of that, because I hadn't thought about it until now, they've probably had to redesign some of the ways that you interact with the baddies, right? Because if it's a little bit more seamless, maybe they've had to, I don't know, would they have to make them slightly more difficult, I guess, because we'll be able to respond quicker? So yeah, maybe there's maybe some adaptation of the actual enemies as well, which is at that again, this is getting to the point where I'm like, you're giving us so much for free, so
yeah,
I love that. And this the really interesting thing, and I don't know if I'll ever need to use it because I don't have it on PC, I just have it on console. But the idea of being able to split between the multiple like gameplay devices, like you can have, if you have a save on your console, they're saying, yeah, you can just port your save over to PC and you can play it on PC if you want. And I'm like, that is insane. Like, I didn't even know that was possible to do. Like,
yeah, it's really cool.
It's insane, and it's cool because, like, you know, I think with the thing with PCs, you can actually get very kind of like specific with your settings, or maybe a little bit more than you can with console stuff. And so you can literally play exactly how you want to play it. If you're playing it on PC, presumably you'd have to buy it again, and that's my only thing. I'm like, that's all right. I'll just play the fancy 3D version on console.
I'm sure it's in a Steam sale for like $5 regularly at this
Probably,
point.
yeah.
And you're right, like that cross save thing is super cool because it's like Skyrim. Whenever Skyrim gets put to another platform, people have got hundreds of hours into this game. They don't want to start afresh. They just want that kind of vision of like cloud gaming where you just pick up your device and then you instantly continue on your adventure with the same kind of stuff. And Cyberpunk did it, and obviously they're bringing it to The Witcher as well. And that's great because then you say, okay, if I was playing on PC, now I want to transfer it to my home console because I don't want to sit at the desk. I want to jump on the sofa, boot up the game, download or whatever process is to get my save file, whether it's synced to an account or however it works, I really don't know. But then you can just pick up your adventure mid-quest or wherever you were, and then in that new different environment that you've switched over to, and the device that you've switched over to. So that's like super interesting, and it's a quality of life thing, which is, again, it's something that most people, gamers, probably don't even think that they need. But then you think, oh man, it'd be really good just to transfer this over to another device, and I can just carry on about my day with this save state, which I don't have to start over again on a new platform, on a new device. But also the integrated mods, which is, we talked about this last week of whether or not they were going to do that or not, and it turns out they are going to do that. They've obviously cherry-picked some community fan favorite mods and brought that into the base game, and then they've obviously added their own modifications on top of that as well. I wonder what these are, but that is obviously hugely exciting to say, yeah, our fans love this game. They have created some really interesting mods for the game. We want to show them the appreciation by making them like official features of the game. I love that. Jamie, for a game that you barely played.
I haven't played it. 10 minutes. That's it. I feel like I'm missing out. I really do. I will say that at the time of recording, it is currently in a Steam sale because I was thinking I might grab it on there so that I'm ready for the, and it is next to nothing at the minute. I'm. It's one of those situations where obviously it doesn't mean a lot of it doesn't mean a hell of a lot to me on a personal level because I haven't played it yet, so I've got no comparison basis. But I'm always happy to see that a game that has so much love from a community is getting love from its company and getting upscaled and getting additions, and the length they're going to are awesome. The big one for me in a general sense was seeing the love for the mod community, because modders do amazing things. There are some ridiculously stupid mods, like replacing all the dragons in Skyrim with Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yep. Yeah.
One of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. But I go way back with mods, back to the days of playing Quake, where my Quake creaked from the amount of mods I had loaded into it. My Quake had classes and an extra storyline and fantasy elements, and I'm still running around shooting everything with a shotgun. So, but Yeah, I think they're doing great things. I think more companies need to embrace two things. One, the mod community, because modders are your bread and butter. They'll play your game for decades after it's like dead and buried to other people. And the cross save notion. More games need that. You especially in the era of Games Pass, where you can have Games Pass and play on multiple devices, but you still have a lot of games that you can't cross-play and you can't cross-save, and you're starting over. So you're still picking or choosing. So, yeah, it's really exciting. They're doing some awesome things. I will play it one day, I promise.
We're going to pop quiz you by the end of the year to see if you've actually had anything. We'll drop little bits of trivia cryptically into the conversation and see if Jamie picks up on it or not.
I liked the bit where he was a Witcher.
Oh, he's obviously played it. Yeah.
Yeah, clearly. You're deeply invested because you know he's a Witcher. And speaking of actually the Cavill and the Netflix show, they're obviously bringing some little DLC thingies into this game as well. You can change Dandelion to look like Dandelion from the series, which is kind of funny. And you can change the Nilfgaardian soldier's armor to look more like the soldiers from the TV show, which is cool as well. No Henry Cavill mod though to make him look like the actor. I'm like, come on, if you're nice in Netflix DLC, you got to go all in.
Yeah.
But the PC community's got it covered. But don't stress about that, Sarah. Especially if you're going to be playing on your new all singing, all dancing PC, you can just get the Cavill mod, face mod for.
Maybe I will.
Okay, next topic, final topic. And it's the one that Jamie's been most looking forward to because he loves award shows. He can't get enough of award shows. He loves to sing the praises of award shows. He loves the arguments that come out of it. He just embraces my game's better than your game sort of conversations. He lives for this, everybody.
Yeah.
He lives for it.
Famously.
The Golden Joystick Awards. The Golden Joystick Awards happened, and I didn't even know they were happening. It was Sarah, you flagged this one, which was obviously great. And of course, your game that you were in won a Golden Joystick Award, Goat Simulator 3. This is pretty cool. I do love the Golden Joystick Awards. I always forget about them every single year, but I do love the like this event and seeing what they pick because it always seems to be. I don't know if this is accurate or not, but it always seems to be like far more eclectic mix of games rather than like the big video game awards or other award shows like that. It seems to be a real kind of different selection of games that get nominated and games that obviously like that will win their awards as well. And I was really surprised that God of War got nominated for like hardly any. Yeah. I think it got two nominations. Yeah. So I don't know their nomination process, if it's public voted, if it's industry voted, or the cutoff times or anything like that. But it was obviously good to see Christopher Judge get nominated for a performance, and I think it was nominated for Ultimate Game of the Year as well.
Yeah, it was.
But but it's very, very strange that that's all it got nominated for. So like we need to maybe investigate like why, how did he choose? So clearly to feed Jamie's opinion of award shows being fucking bullshit, God of War only got nominated for 2 awards. Clearly the game is rubbish and it's not worth playing, and if you play God of War, you're wrong. This is what Jamie lives for.
You're just saying that because Elden Ring won Ultimate Game of the Year. I'm like, you win this time.
My game's better than your game, Sarah. Loser.
I have not lived this down. You trash one award ceremony.
You trash one, you trash them all, Jamie. I will die on this hill about award ceremonies.
I would say that I am still very glad to see the devs and companies get the nod. I'm not ever questioning that these games are not deserving of award nominations. They must be, because someone nominated them, and I get it.
There's a butt coming, Sarah. There's a butt coming.
I can feel it.
Do you think God of War didn't get as many nominations because someone very sensibly at the Golden Joysticks went, we've barely fucking played it, give us a minute?
Just maybe. I don't know.
But then it shouldn't be in there at all, right? Like, instead of having 2 noms, It should have no noms.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It should have been next year's Golden Joysticks.
Or we should do a 6-monthly one or a seasonal one. That would be better because then you can actually capture things like the thing that we mentioned last time. Like, if, for example, we said, "Oh, God of War missed the cutoff," is it? I think it is, but is it going to be a big enough game that it will overshadow everything for the next 12 months? Who knows? Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe it might do for me, but it probably won't for other people because we've got Callisto Protocol coming out. We've got I've just forgotten. Everything's fallen out of my head. But that in particular is the thing I'm next looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
yeah,
we could do it if we did it. Yeah, let's just redo the whole thing every 6 months, every 3 months. The more frequently we do it, the more we get to capture more things, the more diverse it will be. Or we should just can it all together, right, Jamie?
Look, I don't hate them. I feel I should clarify my position on award ceremony. I'm always glad to see the devs get some love because they deserve it, right? Unless it's 343. But no, I've forgiven them. Halo Infinite's amazing. I'm always glad to see the devs get some love. I always. And like I said, it's not the fact that I'm questioning the validity of the nominations that get given to the games per se, because God of War was always going to end up as a Game of the Year nomination. Always. There was too much love for the franchise, for the series, everything that we saw, like the graphics alone, like the way it looks. And we knew that anyway. So that was always going to be an exceptional example of what you can do with a game. But it still could have come out and been crap. It was never going to happen, let's face it. But it could have. So having that as Game of the Year before the year's actually done and before we've seen everything coming out in the end and playing it, I'm just saying it's technically inaccurate.
Sure.
Which frustrates me.
I know. That frustrates me as well because there's other games like that Rick and Morty shooter whose name I've completely forgotten.
Oh, yeah.
That's
High
coming
Life.
out. High Life, yeah, thank you. That's still to come out. Obviously, Dark Tide could be multiplayer game of the year. We have no idea. That's coming out at the end of this month.
I've
Callisto Protocol is still.
It.
Yeah, shut up. Just shut your face. Just like, I don't care. Like, you're making me jealous. You're in Sweden and you're making me jealous about playing Dark Tide. And like Callisto Protocol is still the one I'm most kind of, I think, looking forward to for the game, the big games this year, apart from Elden Ring was at the beginning of the year, because that looks like it's a proper next generation forward looking video game for survival horror. It looks incredible. So I'm still hugely looking forward to that. And if that doesn't get any recognition at all, I'll be as bitter and black-hearted as Jamie. You know? I'm going to... I'll grow out my beard. I'll start wearing caps, and I'll just be fucking bitter all the time.
That's what it is. All the hair and the hat is actually to keep all the anger in. It's like a compression tactic, because otherwise I will just explode with incandescent rage.
That's smart. That's smart. I like that. You should put together a little rule book for how to contain your rage.
Mm-hmm.
How to be angry and somehow survive.
Yeah, a survival guide for rage containment. Yeah.
No, like I said, it's more the fact that there are games that miss out more than games get nominated ahead of schedule. Yeah. That's the thing. Yes. It's like you said, there's so much that should get some love and isn't going to this year. Mm-hmm. And because of the way the games industry works, and there are so many games coming out, like High Life is one. I'm hugely excited for High Life because I love Rick and Morty. I've just been watching Solar Opposites by Justin Roiland, and that's hilarious. It's so good. And that style of humor is brilliant. And this game looks like it's just that. It's absolutely. It's got that sort of almost improvised style to the dialogue, and very, very funny. I'm already sold. Like that game is already up there for me. It would have to do terrible things to drop any lower. And so I'm looking forward to that. But that will not get near Game of the Year, or not even Game of the Year. That will not get near best. Comedy dialogue or anything and it probably won't next year because that could come out and be brilliant, but there's an entire year and something that comes out closer can overshadow it. And I was like, that just seems harsh to me, to the amount of work put in by the people making that game. So that's why.
We know we just like to drag you over the coals about it. It's funny for us. We understand. We're of the same opinion, but it's just easy to just make you the dick about it.
And I'm happy to be the dick. I reiterate just because I've served my time pissing off entire gaming communities and suffering for it. I don't want to do it again. The death threats got a bit much when from the One Direction fans, and I just want to make sure that everyone's very happy now.
I will say though, it was fantastic to see Return to Monkey Island get a nomination for storytelling. That's pretty fantastic for Rod Gilbert, isn't it? Is the creative director and the maker of. Is it Rod Gilbert?
Yes.
Have I got the name totally wrong?
Ron Gilbert.
Ron Gilbert.
Is it
sorry,
not Ron Gilbert?
I think it's Ron Gilbert.
Now see, I'm doubting that now. Oh.
Yeah, God, jeez.
It's too early.
And Horizon Forbidden West actually won that category, which is pretty cool. But yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, we're not going to go through every single one. You can check it out online. It's on the GamesRadar.com website under Golden Joystick Awards. You can see exactly. But again, Studio of the Year, Row 7 got nominated for that, and I was hugely happy about that because Row 7 obviously released Rollerdrome this year, which is fantastic. And Sarah may have a few words to talk about that. I'll ask her about that in a second. But also did Ollie Ollie World, which was at the beginning of the year. So they released two very stylistically sound, artistically, technically just so addictive games, indie games. So it's great to see them get a nod for Studio of the Year. And I just want to say a big shout out to the smaller devs that would normally not get surfaced by that. Yeah, and of course, Sarah is a voice talent on Rollerdrome, so that's got to be close to your heart as well.
Well, yeah, I did that. Yeah, do we all remember that thing that I did?
Funnily enough.
Yeah, we don't talk about it all the time, do we? No, I love the guys at Roll 7. I'm so excited for them being nominated. They've actually been nominated for loads of stuff across different award platform systems. I don't know what you call them. But they've been nominated.
Award bodies.
Yeah, award bodies. There we go. Yeah, and so I have a couple of the devs like in my WhatsApp, and every now and again they're like, "Oh, we've been nominated for this." If it's a public vote, then I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going in there and I'm voting for them." It's so cool. I don't know if I've seen much for Rollerdrome specifically, but them as a company have been nominated for quite a few things, and Ollie Ollie World specifically as well. I'm like, yes, absolutely, I'll go on there, I'll support them. And it sounds like off the back of Rollerdrome being so successful, their next I think they had a project or an idea lined up, and now they're able to sort of build their team a little bit bigger, maybe split, maybe do a couple of different projects. So I'm super excited to see what they come up with next. Whether it will be another sports-based thing, because that would be quite cool. They're kind of carving a niche. You know, they did skateboarding, they did roller skating, so maybe they'll do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Polo.
I was going to say lacrosse or something like that. Shinty, Jamie, Shinty.
Oh, Shinty! I should have gone Shinty.
What is Shinty?
Shinty is a Gaelic sport. It's mostly in Ireland, but Scots used to play it as well. It's like hockey, but it's incredibly brutal, or can be incredibly brutal. It's like a cricket ball with a field hockey stick, and you have to knock the cricket ball through rugby posts at the other end of the field.
Oh.
And if you get hit by the cricket ball, you got to be tough to take the blow. To watch it is incredibly brutal, and I'm like, oh my god, what if somebody gets scalped by a hockey stick? And I'm pretty sure they do. So it's a tough old sport. Very
injuries.
Very very old tradition sport, goes back a long way.
Wow, maybe I'll YouTube it, watch some of it.
Yeah.
It's an interesting notion, though. There are some interesting sports, random sports. You know what you want? You want, and someone like the guys who will say to do well. You want a what the fuck Olympics with just like sports. Like you can have petanque. Anyone play petanque? Old Dorset sport. That's a good one. Okay. Petanque's great. Table skittles. Like, there's loads of weird shit. So you have that in the Olympics, but
that would be great.
Yeah.
I'd buy that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like Mario and Sonic, but with absolutely bizarre, strange stuff and no mascots.
Like beer pong, but the ping pong ball would explode on a countdown timer if you don't throw it in time. Like,
Yeah,
kind of thing.
love
Give
that.
it a
Oh,
combat
damn, yeah.
element.
That sounds epic. Yeah.
I'll play that for real. Just give me a crate of Fosters and a hand grenade. Let's go.
God, I mean, what do you say to that? Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, really, really great to see so many games that were not surfaced in other award bodies and other platforms. Get kind of mentioned here. It was great to obviously see PC Game of the Year went to Monkey Island, and obviously Grounded got a shout out for Xbox Game of the Year, which was obviously great because that didn't get any attention at all at the Game Awards and other things as well. So I really like the Golden Joysticks, probably more so than most other award bodies because of that variety. It seems to be a bit more eclectic, a bit more varied, and I really like that one.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it seems to take a broader view, doesn't it? Which is nice.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. So does that bring us to the end of our show? I think it does. We're just over the hour and 10 minutes. Fantastic. Sarah dialing in all the way from Sweden because she's been living the high life, the diva that she is. We had to reschedule multiple times to fit her schedule.
Yeah, that's me.
It's not her fault. Various circumstances.
Just see
I
this.
fell asleep one time.
You should see this absolutely ridiculous setup that I have as well. I'll tilt the laptop down a little bit so you can see. So basically, my microphone is sitting inside a jumper, which is then sitting inside my rucksack, which I don't know if you can see.
Wow. That is incredible.
High tech.
That's incredible. Jesus, that's amazing. That is commitment. Yeah. Sarah wouldn't sleep through a recording session, would you, Sarah? No way. You show up on time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really. I mean, I can't defend it. I was very tired, but
this has just turned into the giving Jamie shit episode. I think
you should have seen it as well, though. Right? It's just a behind the scenes for everyone. How smoothly this show always runs, right? Apart from me. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm sat there doing something, going "fuck it, shit," and just scarfing But I was literally, I was so well, I was ready to go, and everything set up, right?
Yeah.
And I had my show notes ready, and I'd sat and I went through everything again like I normally do just before we start, just to make sure I've got it all fresh in my mind. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. I've got about 20, 25 minutes. Haven't slept for like 36 hours at this point.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Me. So I'm sat there, but I'm feeling great, and I'm like, okay, it's 36 minutes. So I'll just sit here, and I thought, 35 minutes or so. I'll just sit here for a minute and just gone. And then literally woke
too
up.
Early.
Oh, I woke up in a blind panic, right? Like, gotta record a fucking. Punched everything, right? Staggered out of the chair. I was actually stood up halfway to the bathroom, thinking that's not where we record the podcast. Coming back in, like just. Absolute chaos and anarchy, and then just apologising for the next 24 hours. Like, yeah, but no, really, I'm sorry. I felt awful. So, yeah, it did not go well.
Don't feel awful. It's fine. It all worked out, and we've got a great show in the bag.
Yeah.
So, on that note, everybody, until next time, this has been episode 87 of the Weekend Catch-Up Club podcast. A massive thank you to Jamie and to Sarah, my co-hosts. We'll be back next week with more, I'm sure, fun topics and copious amounts of hilarious tangents. And depending on any comments and reviews that we get from this one, we may ramp up or decrease the Jamie baiting and Jamie shit giving. So we'll see. It's entirely up to the audience. We can ramp it up or dial it down. It's up to you. But anyway, he's here for it, exactly. So until next time, guys, take care and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.